The Baja California Peninsula is a peninsula in northwestern Mexico. Its landmass separates the Pacific Ocean from the Gulf of California. The peninsula extends 1,247 kilometers from Mexicali, Baja California in the north to Cabo San Lucas, Baja California Sur in the south. It ranges from 40 kilometers at its narrowest to 320 kilometers at its widest point and has approximately 3,000 kilometers of coastline and approximately 65 islands. The total area of the Baja California Peninsula is 143,390 square kilometers. The peninsula is separated from mainland Mexico by the Gulf of California and the Colorado River. There are four main desert areas on the peninsula: the San Felipe Desert, the Central Coast Desert, the Vizcaino Desert, and the Magdalena Plain Desert. History. The land of California existed as a myth among European explorers before it was discovered. The earliest known mention of the idea of California was in the 1510 romance novel Las Surgas de Esplandian by Spanish author Garcia Rodriguez de Montalvo. The book described the island of California as being west of the Indies, very close to the side of the terrestrial paradise, and it is peopled by black women, without any man among them, for they live in the manner of Amazons. Following Hernán Cortés' conquest of Mexico, the lure of an earthly paradise, as well as the search from the fabled Strait of Anian, helped motivate him to send several expeditions to the west coast of New Spain in the 1530s and early 1540s. Its first expedition reached the Gulf of California and proved the island of California was in fact a peninsula. Nevertheless, the idea of the island persisted for well over a century and was included in many maps. The Spaniards gave the name Las Californias to the peninsula and lands to the north, including both Baja California and Alta California, the region that became parts of the present-day U.S. states of California, Nevada, Utah, Arizona, and parts of Colorado and Wyoming. Timeline 1532. Hernán Cortés sends 3 ships north along the coast of Mexico in search of the island of California. The 3 ships disappear without a trace. 1533. Cortés sends a follow-up mission to search from the lost ships. Pilot Fortune Ximenez leads a mutiny and founds a settlement in the Bay of La Paz before being killed. 1539. Francisco de Ayala explores both coasts. 1690s first decade of the 18th century. Spanish settlement and colonization in Lower Las Californias. The first Spanish missions in Baja California are established by Jesuit missionaries. 1701. The first report on a map showing California as a peninsula rather than an island is sent to Europe. 1767. Jesuits expelled. Franciscans take over the Baja missions. 1769. Franciscans go with the Portola expedition to establish new missions in Alta California. Control of the existing Baja missions passes to the Dominican Order. 1773. Francisco Palusline demarcates Franciscan and Dominican areas of mission control. 1804. Las Californias divided into Alta and Baja California, using Palus Line. 1810 to 1821. Mexican War of Independence. 1821. First Mexican Empire. Baja California Territory established, covering Baja California Peninsula. 1847. The Battle of La Paz and the Siege of La Paz occurs, as well as several other engagements. 1848. Treaty of Guadalupe. Hidalgo cedes Alta California to the United States. As a U.S. territory, it received the California Gold Rush, causing increased maritime traffic along the peninsula. 1850. California admitted to statehood. 1853, William Walker, with 45 men, captures the capital city of La Paz and declares himself President of the Republic of Lower California. Mexico forces him to retreat a few months later. 1930-31, the territory of Baja California is further divided into northern and southern territories. 1952, the North Territory of Baja California becomes the 29th state of Mexico. Baja California, the southern portion, below 28 degrees north, remains a federally administered territory. 1973, the 1,700 kilometers long Trans-Peninsular Highway is finished. It is the first paved road that spans the entire peninsula. The highway was built by the Mexican government to improve Baja California's economy and increase tourism. 1974, the South Territory of Baja California becomes the 31st state. Baja California Sur. Political divisions. The province of the Californias was united until 1804, in the Spanish colonial viceroyalty of New Spain, when it was divided into Alta and Baja California. The two Californias division was kept after Mexican independence in 1821. The Spanish Baja California province became Mexican Baja California territory, and remained a separate territory until 1836. In 1836, the Siete Leyes constitutional reforms reunited both Californias in the Departamento de las Californias. After 1848, the Baja California Peninsula again became a Mexican territory when Alta California was ceded to the United States. In 1931, Baja California territory was divided into northern and southern territories. In 1952, the North Territory of Baja California became the 29th state of Mexico as Baja California. In 1974, the South Territory of Baja California became the 31st state as Baja California Sur. Baja California, the northern part, is the state of Baja California. The citizens of Baja California are named Baja Californianos. Mexicali is the capital. Baja California Sur, the southern part, below 28 degrees north, is the state of Baja California Sur. The citizens of Baja California Sur are named Sud-Californianos. La Paz is its capital. Geology. The Baja California Peninsula was once a part of the North American Plate, the tectonic plate of which mainland Mexico remains a part. About 12 to 15 million years ago, the East Pacific Rise began cutting into the margin of the North American Plate, initiating the separation of the peninsula from it. Spreading within the Gulf of California consists of short oblique rifts or ridge segments connected by long northwest trending transform faults, which together comprise the Gulf of California rift zone. The north end of the rift zone is located in the Brawley seismic zone in the Salton Sea Basin between the Cerro Prieto Fault and the San Andreas Fault. The Baja California Peninsula is now part of the Pacific Plate and is moving with it away from the East Pacific Rise in a north-northwestward direction. Along the coast north of Santa Rosalia, Baja California Sur is a prominent volcanic activity area. Volcanoes of the peninsula and adjacent islands include volcanoes of east-central Baja California and Cerro Prieto, the San Quintin Volcanic Field, Isla San Luis, Jaraguay Volcanic Field, Coronado, Guadalupe, San Borja Volcanic Field, El Aguajito, Tres Virgenes, Isla Tortuga, Comandula Purissima. Researchers from Scripps Institution of Oceanography have found a 2,000-year-old layer of non-decomposed roots, or peat, up to 4 meters under the desert mangroves. The peat layer acts like a sponge for stored atmospheric carbon. A record of sea level rise is also recorded in the peat layer. The desert mangroves restricted to rocky inlets on the rugged coast of Baja California have been growing over their own root remains over thousands of years to compensate for sea level rise, accumulating a thick layer of peat below the roots. However, mangroves in flat coastal floodplains have accumulated a thinner peat layer. Geography. The peninsula ranges form the backbone of the peninsula. They are an uplifted and eroded Jurassic to Cretaceous batholith, part of the same original batholith chain which formed much of the Sierra Nevada mountains in U.S. California. This chain was formed primarily as a result of the subduction of the Farallon Plate millions of years ago all along the margin of North America. The Sierra de Juarez is the northernmost range in Mexico. The Sierra San Pedro Martir runs south of the Sierra Juarez and includes the peninsula's highest peak, the Picacho del Diablo. The Sierra de San Borja runs south of the Sierra San Pedro Martir. The volcanic complex of Tres Virgenes lies in Baja California Sur, near the border with the state of Baja California, forming the ranges south of the Sierra de San Borja. The Sierra de la Giganta runs along the shore of the Gulf of California south of the Tres Virgenes complex. At the south end of Baja California Sur, the Sierra de la Laguna forms an isolated mountain range rising to 2,406 meters. Another isolated range, the Sierra Vizcaino, juts out into the Pacific between Punta Eugenia and Punta Abriojos. The two most prominent capes along the Pacific coastline of the peninsula are Punta Eugenia, located about halfway up the coast, and Cabo San Lazaro, located about a quarter of the way north from Cabo San Lucas. The Bahia Sebastian Vizcaino, the largest bay in Baja, lies along the Pacific coast halfway up the peninsula. The large island of Isla Cedros is situated between the bay and the Pacific, just north of Punta Eugenia. Onshore southeast of the bay is the Desierto de Vizcaino, an extensive desert lying between the Sierra Vizcaino to the west, and the Tres Virgenes Range which runs along the Gulf of California to the east. The largest bays along the coastline of the Gulf are Bahia de La Paz, where the city of La Paz is located, and Bahia Concepcion. The Bahia de Los Angeles is a small bay located west of the Canal de las Balenas which separates the Baja California Peninsula from the large island of Angel de la Garda in the Gulf of California. Ecoregions. See also, Category Flora of Baja California and Category Flora of Baja California Sur. The peninsula is home to several distinct ecoregions. Most of the peninsula is deserts and xeric shrublands, although pine oak forests are found in the mountains at the northern and southern ends of the peninsula. The southern tip of the peninsula, which was formerly an island, has many species with affinities to tropical Mexico, California chaparral and woodlands, which covers the Mediterranean climate northwestern corner of the peninsula, as well as Cedros and Guadalupe Islands. Sierra Juarez and San Pedro Martir pine oak forests in the upper reaches of the Sierra Juarez and Sierra San Pedro Martir ranges in the northern peninsula. The Sonoran Desert extends into the northeastern portion of the state, east of the Sierra Juarez and Sierra San Pedro Martir ranges. The Baja California Desert extends east of the peninsula ranges along the Pacific side of the peninsula for most of its length, and includes the El Vizcaino Desert and El Vizcaino Biosphere Reserve. The Gulf of California xeric scrub extends along the Gulf of California side of the peninsula for most of its length. San Lucas Zurich Scrub lies in the lowlands of the peninsula's southern tip. Sierra de la Laguna dry forests found on the lower slopes of the Sierra de la Laguna. Sierra de la Laguna pine oak forests are found at higher elevations in the Sierra de la Laguna. The Bahia de Los Angeles Biosphere Reserve. Tourism. The peninsula is known colloquially as Baja by American and Canadian tourists, and is renowned for its natural beauty and pristine environment. It draws eco-tourists who go whale watching for migrating California gray whales, as well as tourists that arrive to the Baja California Gold Coast, and resorts on the southern tip of the peninsula. Its location between the North Pacific and Gulf of California give it a reputation for good sports fishing.